And Dana White Contender Series week 4, they produced some good fighters out that actually week 4. Carlos Prates came from there. Michael Morales came from there. Nazim Sadikov came from there. Draylon Turner actually came from week 4. It seems like, man, we got another star on the rise this week. What should everybody expect when they tune in to watch a fight?
A dominant finish, 100%, bro. This kid, he's tough, he's skilled, but he's not on my level. Maybe give him a couple of years, he'll come back to the UFC, he'll be a little bit better. But I've been doing this a lot longer than him. I'm a lot more well-rounded than him, and September 2nd, it's just my time, bro. That's just the way it is. He's gonna learn a hard lesson. He's gonna have to go through some ups and downs. There's no free rides over here. I don't know what they're used to overseas, but you're not going to come over here and take my UFC contract from me, bro. So that's just how it is. I'm going to get a dominant finish September 2nd.
Got it, man. Let's take it a little bit deeper, man. You got a lot of people giving predictions for this fight, man. So, or if you're looking at this fight, what would be the exact prediction for the people out there? And have you been able to do some tape study on this guy? Just because it has been on short notice.
Yeah, I've never watched really any of my opponents besides the fact that sometimes my coach Timbo will bring me in and be, hey, I want you to see this. Just like, look at this. Like, other than me, like, I'm just so confident. I don't care. I'm just going to show up and do my thing. Sometimes Timbo will show me some tape on some stuff and like, yo, it's things we can exploit. And he showed me some stuff and I'm going to finish this kid. I confidently know I'm going to finish this kid. I can't spoil how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to finish this kid in the first round 100%.
Looking at all the tapes and looking at all your fights, man, your wrestling and your grappling is high level. Do you think that's where you're most dangerous?
I'd say I'm just most dangerous in the cage, bro. Standing up on the ground anywhere. Like I'm a complete mixed martial artist. I truly feel like I'm part of a new breed. I've been doing this my whole life, boxing, wrestling. I can do it all. And I'm comfortable everywhere. I like to stand up and bang though and give the people what they want to see. But if someone tries to grapple me up, I can put them out that way too.
And what about how do you handle like fear or doubt before you step in the cage?
Yeah, I've gotten that question a good amount, and it's funny because I see some of these other fighters in the UFC, and these people try to talk for everybody else, but I think that's like the 99% that's talking because they say stuff like, they'll say, oh, every fighter's nervous before a fight. Like if they say they're not, they're lying. It's like you just ain't part of the 1% then, bro, because I've been knowing I was going to do this my whole life. And I knew at a young age, I was very aware of what it's going to take out of me. So I've trained my mental and my brain over the years, not to fear anything. I don't fear death. I don't fear anything. I truly believe what I'm doing is my destiny and I'm going to get it done. And I'd like to see another man step in the cage and stop me, bro. Like that's all it is. It's just business to me.
Man, not afraid to die, man. Fear no man, man. That's what I'm talking about. Only got my balls and my words, right? Some stuff to live by.
Yeah, I mean I knew what this sport would take out of me if I want to do it at a high level. I don't say stuff that I don't mean. I've been saying I'm going to do this for a long time, and I've truly trained my mental, to just I don't fear anything. I don't even focus about winning or losing. I just like to go in there and have fun and perform for the people, bro. That's why I have the biggest following outside the UFC right now, man. I'm selling merch drops, making a lot of money on merch drops. I'm not even in the UFC yet. It's because people know that I stand on what I say. They can see it in my performances. You can see it when I get in the cage. I truly love this shit, and I just want to give people a fun, entertaining ride to the top of the UFC, man. That's what the Mafia is all about.
And man, when you said that you could see this already happening, talking about your fights sometimes, like, do you visualize them beforehand? And if so, like, what do you focus on those moments?
Yeah, I do a lot of visualization, I don't really focus on the winning aspect of it though, honestly, man. I truly just am in the moment, and every time I'm in the gym, I'm just focused on the process of getting better and becoming the best martial artist alive. And then when I get out there, the lights go on, it just kind of all comes together.
Got it, man. With that being said, man, is there pressure coming from that Red Hawk camp being one of the closest things that they compare to the Sean O'Malley protege?
Yeah, that's a good question, man. But I'd say no. When you've put the pressure that I've put on myself my whole life to do this, I was a third grader. All my friends are saying they're going to go be professional football players, professional basketball players. I was saying I was going to be a professional fighter, and a lot of people doubted me, and that, you know, I've always meant it, and, you know, now everybody kind of believes in me, and that's the pressure I've put on myself. So I've learned to live with that, and if anything, I feed off of that, bro. Just to talk about like this, like I had 3 opponents for this fight, right? First opponent I had was Cody Law. He was a Bellator veteran, 30 years old. You know, I think he had a record though of like 12-2 or something like that. So he had a couple of losses, right? And, you know, so if I go out there, smoke him, people can be like, oh, well, he's washed up from Bellator. He's lost in Bellator, right? And then I had this other kid, Robbie Ring was his name. He lost on Dana White Contender Series 2 years ago. He backed out after taking the fight. So that's 2 people backed out. Then we got this David kid that I don't even know his last name, but this Russian, this undefeated Russian, Armin's cousin, supposed to be a good grappler, right?
David
All these kids from overseas, these undefeated kids are always beating these Americans up. And you know, that's the fight out of all the fights that I would have chose to do, because I like that. You know, that gives me something to go out there and prove these people wrong and rise to the occasion. And nobody rises to the occasion better than me. So, you know, I live off of these kind of moments for sure. This shit just fuels me, and it brings the best out of me. There's no pressure at all. I put pressure on myself my whole life, and I've learned to just find comfort in it. And I'm super just at peace and calm right now, watching things unfold in my life that I've been talking about for decades. So I'm ready to go out there and do my thing.
Got it, man. Fusion Fight League, man. You know, kind of where you made your name known and everything, but call me out on this. Am I lying, or is this the truth? I heard you make more money on the regional scene than some UFC fighters.
Yeah, you know, that's not a lie. I've actually, one of the funny thing is, you know, everything's like a blessing in disguise, and one of the biggest blessings that happened last year after I got hurt on Contender Series, you know, I went into a really hard 8-10 weeks of rehab. Fusion Fight League called me up, and 5 weeks out from a fight in December, they said, hey, there's this arena in Great Falls, Montana, my hometown. They want to open up both sides, pack it. They said this is going to be the biggest MMA event in Montana history. We need your help selling it out. You know, they don't sell out shows there without me. And I hopped in a 5-week fight camp and took a fight up at 155 against a tough Combates America vet, you know, and because I didn't want to cut weight, really be hard on my body because I was coming off that injury. I did that. I sold that show out, and it was the biggest MMA event in Montana history. And yeah, dude, you bet. I definitely make more money up in Montana than a entry-level UFC fighter, but that's just base pay. You know, I'm going to be making more money in UFC now with that spotlight because I'm a smart kid. I know how to use my brand and being at that level to get paid other ways outside the UFC, whether it's merch, other businesses that believe in me. So I'm definitely going to be getting paid more still now that I'm in the UFC. But yeah, dude, for sure, 100% up in Montana, I'm making more than an entry-level UFC fighter for sure.
8-0, 8 first round finishes, 3 knockouts, 5 submissions. Some fighters can't finish their lunch. It seems like you don't got no problem with that, right?
Yeah, I think that's the difference between me and a lot of these other prospects. You know, none of us, obviously, all these prospects, we're not fighting UFC level people in the regional scene. So I think it's our job to show them that they don't belong in there with us. And I've seen plenty of these other prospects, you know, they go the second round with some of these guys that I'd be finishing in the first round because I don't belong on the regional scene. I'm one of the best in the world. I'm willing to fight anybody at 145, and that's what my performances are supposed to show, 100%. I'm not going to let nobody just hang out with me in there that don't belong in there with me.